This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Unette Gentry. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Give them a call, 727-9900. Today's news is also brought to you by Gunny's Air Conditioning and Heating. New service and repair. Call Gunny's 775-727-6800. Also brought to you by Nye Communities Coalition. Nye CC is your one-stop resource for employment services. Visit nyecc.org.
Welcome to News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Unette Gentry. It's Thursday, March 10th, Deanna's birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Well, a confrontation at a Pahrump home early this morning ends with one man shot. Now he's under arrest. Police were dispatched to the scene of a shooting on Indole Street and Winchester just after 7 a.m. this morning. Nye County Sheriff Sharon Worley says the property had been the subject of many burglaries. The female homeowner witnessed a male exiting her garage this morning. During the confrontation, the individual allegedly reached for his backpack, which had a knife inside of it. The female shot the male. He left the scene and self-transported to Desert View Hospital here in Pahrump with minor injuries. The male was then apprehended, arrested, and transported to the Nye County Sheriff's Office Detention Center.
And a fire late Wednesday night here in Pahrump destroys a travel trailer, but firefighters were able to keep the flames from spreading to a house on the same property.
Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies, auxiliary units, and Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue were dispatched to a travel trailer fully engulfed in flames last night on Jasmine and Corbin Streets. Valley Electric was also called to the scene to secure power to the residents. The trailer was completely destroyed, and the fire was threatening the nearby main residence on this property. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue crews were able to contain the blaze quickly. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies and auxiliary units blocked traffic in all directions. The cause of the fire is unknown at this time and under the investigation of Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue. No injuries have been reported. Well, a former caregiver at Inspiration Senior Living here in Pahrump is under arrest, accused of stealing money from residents. Now she faces more than a dozen charges. Here's Brad Francis with the details.
Liliana Valdez has been booked into the Nye County Detention Center on 3 counts of exploitation of an older or vulnerable person and 10 other counts related to her use of credit, debit cards, and checks she allegedly stole from residents of Inspiration Senior Living in Pahrump. According to the arrest report, the son of a 96-year-old resident filed a police report February 25th alleging unauthorized transactions on one of his father's credit cards. On March 7th, the Nye County Sheriff's Office began an investigation at Inspiration Senior Living. An allegation was made that Valdez, who was working as a caretaker at the facility, had taken credit cards, debit cards, and checkbooks belonging to elderly residents. Detectives discovered video surveillance that showed Valdez using a stolen credit card at Big 5 Sporting Goods in Pahrump, and with that evidence, she was placed under arrest. The next day, March 8th, detectives obtained a search warrant to search Valdez's residence. During that search, officers found 2 checkbooks that belonged to a 91-year-old Inspirations resident who had recently died. Officers also found a receipt showing Valdez had written herself a check for $2,000 cash to herself. Officers also found receipts for a rent-a-center where they say Valdez had used the personal information of another recently deceased resident to unlawfully obtain goods in the amount of $1,600. When speaking with Valdez, who was already in custody, detectives say she admitted to taking a credit card and using it, taking the checkbooks and writing checks, and using a deceased resident's personal information to obtain goods. Detectives say Valdez also admitted to entering her bank and attempting to cash a fraudulent check. In a written statement, Inspiration says the safety and well-being of its residents and associates is its top priority. The statement goes on to say that in accordance with Inspiration's standard employment procedures, Valdez had successfully passed a background check prior to beginning her brief employment.
And stay tuned here on News 25, horrible allegations of child neglect. Those charges and details after the break.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest-reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back to News 25. Well, a Pahrump woman is now under arrest facing child neglect charges after police discover her 2 children living in conditions they describe as uninhabitable. Brad Francis reports.
Jacqueline Grenier Cummins has been booked into the Nye County Detention Center on 2 counts of allowing child abuse or neglect, 1 count of exploitation of an older or vulnerable person, 1 count of burglary of a business, and 1 count of drug possession. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies were called to a home on Z Street in Pahrump to assist a Division of Child and Family Services representative conducting a home check. DCFS had received a tip that 2 children were living at that address in uninhabitable conditions and that their mother, Grenier Cummins, would leave them home alone to go gamble and do drugs. In the arrest report, officers say they observed several cats and went on to describe an extremely cluttered house littered with cat feces, cat urine, countless choking hazards, and dangerous objects within arm's reach of a child. Deputies say the odor of urine and feces was overwhelming, and they observed the children stepping in and walking through cat feces. 2 people told officers they had stepped in to take care of the children, saying Grenier Cummins will not take care of them and will not help them either. It's unclear how or if those people are related to Grenier Cummins or the children. The caregivers told officers it had been 3 to 4 days since they last saw her. At this point, DCFS removed the children for their safety and well-being. Deputies returned to the home a few days later where they made contact with Grenier Cummins. She told officers the children had lived in her home for 2 years and she acknowledged the conditions were bad. Officers say she admitted to having a gambling problem but said she did not use drugs. During a search incident to arrest, officers located a white crystalline substance in a bag she had with her. That substance tested presumptive positive for methamphetamine. Grenier Cummins also had in her possession a man's wallet, and officers found a receipt showing she had used that man's debit card to buy $20 worth of gasoline at the Horizon Market on Linda Street.
Well, if you're having trouble reaching your health goals, don't despair. In today's Medical Minute from Spring Mountain Medical, physician assistant Ted Braun says help is available to get you on the right track.
This Medical Minute is brought to you by Spring Mountain Medical, healthcare the way you've always imagined it.
Hi, I'm Ted with Spring Mountain Medical, your hometown health and wellness provider. Today I want to talk about taking the next step in achieving improved health. Do you feel stuck with your weight, physical fitness, or general energy levels and activity? Do you feel discouraged by the pace of your physical improvement? If so, don't despair. Our bodies all go through stages and levels of highs and lows and stagnation periods because of what we eat, stress, injury, or limitations to mobility due to illness and more. These cycles are normal and shouldn't be a reason to lose hope for our goals. Sometimes all it takes is starting a plan of action that resets our bodies and minds and puts us on a new track. Our providers can provide advanced diagnostic testing and examinations that will restore your activity plan that will get you on the right track. Make an appointment with us today to help you feel your best. I'm Ted, and this has been your Medical Minute brought to you by Spring Mountain Medical.
And in other health news, today is World Kidney Day. The kidneys play an important role in your body, helping with things like filtering your blood and making red blood cells. And with COVID-19 continuing to spread, the virus could put your kidneys at risk.
Most of the time, when they get the COVID and they have chronic conditions, they end up in the hospital, and their respiratory issues are really getting worse. That's when the kidneys get involved.
Dr. Savag Demirjan is a kidney specialist for Cleveland Clinic. He says the kidneys can be impacted in a number of ways depending on the severity of COVID-19 illness. For example, in a more extreme case, someone could suffer permanent kidney damage and may need dialysis. However, in other situations, they could have short-term stress on their kidneys, which can heal with time. Dr. Demirjan says in mild to moderate cases of COVID-19, they don't suspect the kidneys are affected. With that being said, all of this can be avoided if you take the right steps for prevention and get vaccinated.
If you follow the thought process that the kidneys often are involved when things are progressing to the worst, so anything that sort of stops that cycle from happening can actually protect your kidney.
Dr. Demirjan says if you recently recovered from COVID-19 and are noticing issues with your kidneys, like you're not urinating enough, have swelling in your legs, or are experiencing tiredness, you should consult with your physician. They can then decide the best course of treatment.
I don't know about you, but I need that bow tie.
I know, I love Dr. Bowtie. Thank you for that health information, and we'll be right back with even more information for you here at KPVM.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
Well, today our smartphones can do just about anything, but they're not always the best option. Josh Osborne from Great Computer Deals here in Pahrump says there are still some things better done with a desktop or laptop computer with a full keyboard.
Hi guys, Josh Osborne with Great Computer Deals. It's time for another quick tutorial, viewer question edition. One viewer asks, if you have a smartphone, do you even need a computer? That is a great question. And while I feel that modern smartphones can do just about anything, there will always be a need for a full desktop or laptop computer. Let me give you an example. You're in school or you're at the office and it's time to type out a term paper or a letter. Would you rather do it on a 6-inch screen with a little touchscreen keyboard or a full 15-inch laptop screen with physical keys for typing? Pretty easy answer there for me. I know I sound like a computer salesman, and I am one, but I feel it's still a great idea to have a full computer and a smartphone so you're covered with any scenario. Why trust a technician when you can trust a friend? Great Computer Deals is located at 1190 East Highway 372. Call us at 775-990-8833.
All right, if you own a home, you know that home improvement can get very expensive, especially when you take on projects bigger and improvement projects like remodeling or additions. In today's Ask Angie segment, Bailey Carson talks about ways to cut your remodeling costs on your next home improvement project.
A remodeling project is an exciting time to update your home to better suit your lifestyle and match your family's needs, but it can easily get out of hand when it comes to cost. Bailey Carson, a home care expert at Angie, is here to offer advice on how to save money on your next big home projects.
As you consider your next remodeling project, take the time to really research. This is going to help you set the appropriate timeline and budget, talk to multiple pros to get estimates, and when you're talking to them, make sure to ask about seasonality. You may be able to keep your costs down by starting your project off-season. This could be labor cost as well as materials.
As you plan your next remodeling project, think about what you can do to keep the complexity to a minimum. For example, if you're planning to remodel your kitchen, consider building efficient custom cabinets rather than knocking down a wall and changing your home's footprint, or refinish your cabinets and doors rather than replacing them altogether.
Just like keeping your home's footprint can save money, so can keeping plumbing in place. Before you commit to rerouting any plumbing, take a few things into consideration. If you're remodeling a bathroom or kitchen, try not to reroute the plumbing for your sink, your toilet, your shower, your dishwasher. This could cost over $1,000 to move something just 3 feet. So really think about your priorities before you commit to that reroute.
If you're putting in new hardware, furniture, or lighting fixtures, think about shopping secondhand. Gently used items are more eco-friendly and often less expensive than buying new. Be confident in negotiating pricing on floor models and set price trackers for refurbished deals online. If you're really handy, you could also consider refurbishing items yourself.
Even if you're not the handiest of homeowners, there still may be a way to save money and take on some things yourself. By example, if there's some demolition involved, you could rent a dumpster and do some of those tasks yourself. End up saving yourself several $100s.
Throughout your remodel, you may see the costs of deliveries and cleaning add up to thousands. Look at what deliveries you could replace with pickups. If you don't have a pickup truck, consider buying a utility trailer and reselling it post-project. Cleaning crews can cost a few $100s a day, but you can eliminate that cost with some time and hard work as a family.
If you're doing a remodel and need to be out of your home, remember that hotels can add up quickly. Consider staying with family or friends, or even a short-term rental. Also, if you can stay home but your kitchen is going to be off limits, set up something temporary. A small space with a coffee maker, a small prep surface, a mini fridge and a microwave can probably get the job done. And you'll end up saving yourself on takeout costs for every meal.
Do you have questions about your home projects? Tweet them using hashtag AskingAngie. That's hashtag AskingAngie, and you may get some tips in an upcoming segment.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Okay, it's been a wild
Hold on to your
wild
hats
day.
out there. Look at that. The wind is whipping even our camera. The trees and surrounding areas. How fast and how high? We'll tell you after the break.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Good evening, Nevada. My name is Romano Frediani. I'm in for John Kohler, who's off for the next few days. Taking a look at your weather map up and down the state, we are under a wind advisory for pretty much all of Nevada, and temperatures are taking a drop as a result. Up in Fernley and Fallon, 44 degrees. Carson City at 46. Tonopah not even in the 40s at 39. Goldfield at 44. And Beatty breaking out at 52 degrees. Amargosa and Las Vegas were tied for the hot spot in the state at 56 degrees. And Death Valley saw a scant 69 degrees. Here in the Paradise of Pahrump, we're currently at 52 degrees. We saw 54 earlier. The wind is the big story. It blows outside. 30-mile-an-hour average gusts, and that means that some places saw gusts of up to 50, 55 miles an hour. Humidity at 12%, and the sun rose this morning at 6:01. It'll set this evening at 5:47. The low tonight will be 32 as the winds calm down to about 15 miles an hour average out of the north-northeast. Humidity at 12%. And what does that mean for the rest of the week? Well, we've got some clouds coming in about 3-4 days. Just flirting with them, really. That's not going to affect anything. It'll be mostly sunny, and the temperatures are rising up. That's what we like to see, from the mid-60s all the way up into the mid-70s and even the high 70s on Tuesday. Winds staying relatively low, but they'll kick up again as we get into pollen season. So allergics beware. And now, that's it for your weather report. Back to the birthday girl. Happy birthday, Deanna.
I love our fill-in weatherman.
Yes. So today, super crazy windy weather.
Yes,
I got to
it is.
talk about some of the brownout conditions that we saw on the roadway. Driving down the highway down here. This is me driving down, and there was so much problems with the visibility and pulling out on the highway, especially on the outskirts of town. And one of the issues, of course, is where you don't have a lot of cement in that area and a lot of the farming areas. So be careful out there,
Loose
definitely.
gravel, debris, dust. Please be careful out there on those roadways, and I hope you were safe.
Yeah, the County Commissioner, Deborah Strickland, I was speaking to her today a little bit in detail about some of the precautions that we take here in town. And one of the things that we never talk about is when you open your car door. This is something that you learn here in town.
I did that
when
today.
it's a windy day, you never let go of your car door when you open it, because the
that
mechanics,
hyperextension.
Yeah, I've had to have the car door fixed before, and can cause a lot of damage. So hold on to your car doors.
Yes.
Hold on to your everything in your yard right now, and take care of yourselves. But we do have an upcoming fundraiser that's super important. As you guys remember, that the Short Branch Saloon burnt down earlier this year, and they are having a fundraiser at the Bounty Hunter. They're holding a poker run. So we have all the information up here on the screen, which is March 19th. We'll be having an interview soon with Ruthie to let you know more about that. But
yes, can't wait.
it's posted on our Facebook page if you want to find out more information. We're trying to help them rebuild.
Excellent. Yes, that's an important cause, and it's important that we do what we can to help everyone in the community who's already out there helping others.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Unette Gentry, and from all of us here at KPVM, we again want you to be safe out there, and we want you to please wish Deanna a happy birthday.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes, and happy birthday
Thanks
to
for all the
Brett
happy
Francis
birthdays.
as well. Thank you
Tomorrow's
so much.
his birthday.
Yes, happy early birthday.
Good night.
Good night.